Yes, Davy Hutton back in the studio for the Scottish Property Podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's like a Davy Hutton moulded arse seat there that you're sitting on. You're in that
moulded arse seat.
Comfortable.
Aye.
So just for the benefit of the listeners who are listening and not watching on YouTube, you've got to describe your outfit. Haven't seen that one on you before.
This is actually my oldest suit. It's the first suit I got made. Slange in Glasgow. I think it was the first suit they made.
Slange, yeah. Nice. That's you're looking very
Autumn
dapper.
Winter collection.
The what?
The Autumn and Winter collection.
Autumn and Winter collection. And you've been blasting yourself about social media as well, TikTok as well, mate. It's on TikTok now, answering questions.
So David Smart said that to me last week as well, and all I did was open a TikTok account. It was no great strategy change or anything. I just thought, probably need to be on TikTok.
Better try this or not.
Yeah. And
what are you doing with the young kids?
Yeah, and it went well, and I've got a content creator girl that's just started, and she's great. You know, she's a bit off the wall, and it's fun, and that's what I wanted to do, get back to having fun.
A bit of fun with your business.
Yeah.
What's been the funniest question you've had yet? Because you've started asking for questions, haven't you? So they all been property. They can't all be property related, surely.
No. I'm on.
Is any of them property related?
I'm on level 45 of Call of Duty. How do I get past it? And my wife's really irritating me. How do I tell her? All that kind of stuff.
I tried that one time, you know, on Instagram where you put out, ask me a question, and you get all sorts, don't you? So the one that I always remember is...
I usually get cheek.
Usually it's the guy, Craig Gallagher, if you're listening to this, he always comes back with, what day did I put my bins out? But he does it every time.
If the joke's worth doing, it's worth labouring.
So that's it. But anyway, we're here to talk about the budget, and obviously yesterday Rachel Reeves stood up, and there was actually no point in her standing up and giving her budget announcement, because the OBR stupidly, somebody's got to get the boot for putting out all the document. So the document that contains everything in the budget was put out on the internet like 2 hours before or an hour before. So.
Yeah, and the city had responded before she made her speech and all that.
Well, that was the thing. I was surprised that there wasn't more kind of meltdown in the markets, because they quite quickly stabilised. I think there was a quick, obviously people were speculating.
I think from a market point of view, there's nothing there really to get upset about.
I mean, we are going to pay more tax than limited company through our dividends, 2%, but that was the biggest thing.
We'll come on to all the ins and outs of it, and obviously it's good to get Davy in, because he always gives us a good opinion on things. You know, I think yesterday I was scrolling through social media, and it's great for obviously, you know, getting the news and all the rest of it, and everybody's got their own videos that they do, but they're all just reading out all the facts that you can get from Google and Chat GPT. So I like to get, well, what's your thoughts on it? What do you think? How do you think it's going to affect you? So I like getting people's opinion. That's why I like getting Davy in. But you were talking about all the right-wing headlines and all the rest of it. So I was actually just dropped my kids off at school there, and I went into the wee shop to get a coffee, and I took a photo of the front page of the Daily Mail here. So it says, spiteful raids on strivers to lavish billions on Benefit Street. So do you agree with any of that, Davy?
Do you know, it's my pet subject just now. How long have we got? Let's go big picture.
Right.
He's going to go on
we know the corporations, and we know that there's only a few people that run the world.
Right. The corporations don't pay tax. Or the global corporations.
Because they're based in countries.
Yeah.
They do all their activity
but they used to be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker that did pay their taxes. So the tax income isn't there for any government. And unless they tackle the corporations, which they're not going to do, who's going to pay it? We have to pay a larger amount, and people better get used to it, because it's going to happen again and again and again and again. It's the only place it can come from, unless they tackle the corporations. What stops them tackling the corporations? The corporations are so big they control everything, including the government.
Does that eradicate completely the middle class then, and basically everyone will be kind of poor, or you'll be super wealthy because you'll be able to avoid your taxes?
Yeah. So I'm sure it's stuff that will come on to, like the AI explosion, as that replaces people's jobs. People will be paid the universal basic income, but the universal basic income in a lot of cases will be less than they were earning in the real world. So what's the implications on house prices with that? And we've spoken about it many times, how we don't know what we don't know. That's probably where you get 50-year mortgages and things like that plug that particular problem. But the corporation control is so difficult to fight against now, because you would need to be Gandhi with no skeletons in your cupboard, and also you would need to own a social media company to get your message out.
Cancelled,
or a property training company.
And the last time I looked into Gandhi, he wasn't particularly interested in his TikTok account or owning a TikTok type company. But I was talking about it recently. If you look at, you to understand the level of control that holds us all. Take the 5 richest guys in the world, the 4 richest guys in the world. Elon Musk controls 75% of the satellites in the sky and Twitter X. Jeff Bezos controls 10-15% of the satellites in the sky. Amazon Prime, Washington Post. Larry Ellison, who's kind of a name that none of us knew a year ago. Now he owns everything. CBS, TikTok in the States, CNN. And then take Zuckerberg with Facebook, Instagram, Threads. Now, there's 4 people, 4 corporations. Let's throw into the mix the Murdoch Corporation, News International, Fox News. And there's your entire print media, TV media, social media, and more importantly, algorithms, all controlled by 4 corporations. So as a result, you have 250,000 people on the Tommy Robinson March down in London, all shouting to stop the immigration. You didn't see one single plaque saying, make the corporations pay their tax. Why not? Because the algorithms are controlling what you should be angry about, and they're right to be angry, because the working class and the middle class has been squeezed for 20 years and will continue to be squeezed, and they'll be angry at who they're told to be angry at. And the corporations are not going to say, be angry at the corporations. Yeah. The government can't go against the corporation, because the corporation then comes down on the government.
So what can the government do to attract the corporations then to obviously set up in this country and pay tax? What could they be doing?
Well, they couldn't, because you're going to have global loopholes somewhere, whether it be the Cayman Islands, Isle of Man.
They're just always going to look for.
They're going to look next one.
Well,
unless there's a global.
Is that why? Obviously, we were talking about Dubai there pre-recording, and obviously we saw this like firsthand, didn't we? A lot of people moving out there, and there's this whole exodus of people, and there's companies actually approaching small businesses over here to say, by the way, look, we can get you set up in Dubai. You can still continue trading your company here, operating your company in the UK, and pay no tax, and move out to Dubai.
So how does that, looking forward, how does that create any optimism here?
Doesn't.
And this is the problem we're in. We're not in a recession, and you give me every time I'm here all the stats that tell me how everything's basically okay. And well, why does it not feel okay?
Well, that's what it's going to get on to. Let's talk about how we're feeling, right? So we're all small business owners, right? Davy, you've been in business a lot longer than us, right? I'm interested to know, is this the worst that it's ever felt in terms of like the tax situation, in terms of like, your tax bill, your tax obligation, the amount that you're actually having to put out, and do you actually see that you're getting anything back for that? The country doesn't seem to be improving. We seem to be paying more and more tax, but public services don't seem to be getting much better. So how is your feeling? And looking over the years that you've ran your business, how long now since you've been in business?
35 years.
Can you remember a time where you were worse off? I mean, maybe going back to 2008, or can you remember a time where things were really good, and what was the differences there? Why?
There were worry times, because you were in a boom and bust economy, so you were either heading into a recession or heading out of a recession, or you were in a boom time. That's kind of disappeared just now. You've had a bit of a boom because of the COVID bubble, but largely you've had 15 to 20 years of purgatory, of just nothing really happening. So if you sit down every year and you look at your net worth, both of you will have risen last year, and it will have risen the year before that. So why does it not feel like it? Why does it feel shit? And this is what I feel with people on the streets. Everything feels shit. So the negativity comes in, because you're not heading out. If you're in a recession, you know you're going to get to the bottom and it's going to bounce and it's going to go the other way. So there's an energy comes
boom and bust.
both from boom and bust.
But it's a hidden recession now. The media's not, they always they don't jump on it or expose it. Do they wait 6 months, 9 months, then they go, yeah, we're in an absolute fucking recession, and then everyone goes, oh, that makes sense. That's why we've been feeling so negative.
Well, yeah,
there'll be a way
they'll
out.
come out and tell you that the rate of inflation's running at 4% or 5%. Everybody knows it's more than that.
But wages are going up 5%. So how are we not feeling better off? So this is this whole stealth tax, isn't it?
Gone up 15%.
Aye.
Your Morrison's bill's gone up 15%.
But this is where they played a blind, though, wasn't it? Because like there was so they released. We were talking about all the leaks and all the run up to the budget and all these things that were kept leaking to the press. So the whole thing was, and now just bear in mind for people listening here in Scotland, we have a different income tax set. We set our own income tax rates, right? But down there they were leaking like, oh, income tax is going to go up. This was the big rumour. And then they come in the budget. No, we're not going to raise taxes, raise income tax, because that would be against our manifesto. And this is a Labour government, and we said we will not raise taxes. But they've said that they will keep the tax thresholds. They will pause the thresholds until 2031, which is this stealth tax. Which I'm no economist, right? But I've been listening to the commentators. So wages and inflation's going up, but the tax thresholds, the point where you pay tax is staying the same, so you will be dragged into paying more tax.
So people,
hence they call it a fiscal drag.
Directly see that, but they feel it because it's just a constant drain on your energy. It's a constant addition onto your depression levels. And if I was the Prime Minister, the way to handle it is to come out and say, right, folks, listen up, here's the problem. The corporations don't pay their tax, and there's fuck all I can do about it. And until we work out how we're going to solve this problem, we're all going to have to work together, and we're all going to have to pay a bit more. And I'm really sorry, but it's the only way we can do it to, keep the roads okay and, keep everything functioning. A little bit of honesty goes a long way. But we don't see it, and because you don't get it from Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak or whoever, people basically know they're being spun a line. And they feel that. So then the distrust of politicians comes in. Therefore, everything the politicians say...
Is there a trust in a politician?
Well,
any?
No, because they're not being honest with it. It's not that they're directly lying to you, they're just not directly telling you the truth. And
you trust Donald Trump? He seems to be quite honest.
Actually, does say what comes out his head.
But you see that fracturing across there now. The MAGA movement's kind of like not imploding, but it's starting to say, hang on now, the guy that wants to drain the swamp is the swamp. And it'll be the same here. I mean, the people that are kind of like the rabid supporters of Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, if you think the Reform Party is coming in and going to radically change the way we do things, because they're funded by the big business, they're funded by the big corporations.
I'm voting Reform.
Look, good for you, mate. You fucking idiot.
Well, listen, what other option is there now? I voted Labour, they fucked it up.
Yeah, they
given them 3 years already. They're not going to any. Economy's flatlining.
My main.
Fancy making £1,500 for sending a WhatsApp? Let's take a wee break to talk about referring sellers to John and Lewis at Prime Property Auctions. The boys have paid out over £350,000 in referral fees. Myself and Stephen have both done it, and it couldn't be easier.
If you know someone selling a property, the guys will pay you £1,500 or 1% of the sale price, whatever is higher, just for passing their details. Doesn't matter if the seller is already on with an agent or not, as long as you're in direct contact with the seller, just drop the guys a message and they'll do everything from the first call to getting the property sold. If you know someone might be looking to sell or struggling to get the result with their own agent, go to the link in the show notes and send them a message now.
Reason for not voting Reform is the entire politics seems to be about setting people against people.
Yeah,
it's
dividing the country.
I don't like that. I agree with that. And see when they start calling them these people or them,
But there's a perfect example
I don't like
of how
that.
the Trump thing works. I don't agree with this, and this, but see that thing there, that's why I'm voting for them. So Trump does a speech, and I'm one of the weirdos that watches the entire Trump speech. because I've always been political and into that. 'Cause I'm never once have I been affiliated with any particular party, but I've always been interested in politics. So Trump will say in his speech this whole word salad of shite. We've got too many brown people. They're over here eating our dogs and cats, and they're rapists and murderers.
Did you hear about the journalist that he called a piggy or something like that? That was awful, man. That was cringe.
How did he get away with that?
But let me finish this bit. In the same speech, Trump will say, I love brown people. Brown people love me. They say I'm the best president since Abraham Lincoln, maybe even better than Abraham Lincoln. And then the way the algorithms work, the racists get rid of the brown people. The brown people get the I love brown people. Everybody gets what they want to hear on their 10-second TikTok newsfeed. And that's the danger. That's how populism works. So you're getting something from reform that triggers you and says, I agree with that.
For me, it's about change.
But it's not going to change, Nick.
But it's worth a try.
It's not worth a try. It's because it's built on hate and racism, and it's not going to change because the corporations, for starters, will not allow the change. And Nigel Farage and the tech bros that are behind them are the corporations. In a million years, it's not going to change.
But they're going to get in because of that, because they're working with the tech that owns the algorithms that can put that into nicks anybody else's freaking face.
Unless Keir Starmer can come out and do that address to the nation and say, here it is, warts and all, because people will respond to it.
He's not got a fucking backbone.
No, he's not.
I saw something really
none
funny.
None of them do because they're middle management.
One of my friends had shared something, like one of the Polish guys I train with, the jiu-jitsu, and he shared something, it was like a video clip, a reel of the Polish president hitting the punch bags. You see that?
Yeah.
And there was Keir Starmer doing it, and it was pathetic, and I'm thinking, that fucking sums it up, eh?
But that's what you have now with your politicians, they're middle management.
Yeah.
The real management is like the Elon Musks and the Jeff Bezoses. I mean, I'm no fan of Elon Musk, but if you think he's coming up to a podium and giving you a lot of grey shite, he's just not.
So how do we have any ideas about how we could get out of a flatlining, no growth economy, or do we just have to?
That is my idea. Be straight with the people and create the buzz, create the energy, create the honesty, create the thing that says we are a society and a community and we work together.
We're struggling and need to work together to grow.
Yeah, you cannot do that while voting reform, saying, I hate brown people, because that's what you're saying. And I know you don't. But the sucker you with we need change. Well, we do need change, but we don't need change down a really bad direction. It's kind of like saying Hitler was good for Germany.
I mean, I understand.
I voted Tory, I voted Labour. Who else is there then?
I mean, I guess I understand your points of the reform when you see things like, there's 49,000 immigrants in hotels, but we've got 85,000 war veterans that have served the country that are on the streets. I get that. When you see that coming up, you're like, those stats are, change needs to happen. And it does make it look like reform are the ones that are going to do something different. But like you say, fundamentally, they're not going to do anything different.
So see, getting back to that, Daily Mail headline, right? The strivers, they put it, raids on the strivers, right? So me and you are trying to strive. We're trying to grow our businesses, small businesses. We've got a small team, but we're getting hit negative, more tax. I actually looked at moving to Dubai this year. It's not for me. I wouldn't go. It's just not for me.
But because you've started looking, would you then look at Cyprus because they've got tax breaks?
Aye.
So
I'm in that mindset. I need to get away from this shit. They just want to take more and more and more. Yeah. I don't mind paying more, right? If I'm getting my bins emptied more often. If stupid wee things like you're not dodging craters in the road.
Police are beating
police
on the streets.
Problem in that though, Nick,
NHS is good, huh?
The reason that you're paying the money that you're paying is primarily for social care.
Well, this is it, right?
Well, it's not about your bins, it's not about your roads.
So what's your view on more of that money going into benefits then, creating a nation, a mindset now where we will look after you? We should look after people, right? We should look after people that are needing it. But, the end to the 2-child cap rate and all the rest of it, I'm sorry, if you've got if you choose to have 6 kids, you need fucking... something wrong with your head anyway. You have 6 kids.
You need to make the financial decision. Can you afford 6 kids?
That's what I'm saying. Where'd you sit on that, Davy?
It's a difficult one because on one hand I agree entirely what you're saying. I've got 1 kid, My sister's got 1 kid. My brother's got 2 kids. The big families are a thing of the past. But what do? Do you penalise the kid?
Yeah, and do you sit back and watch people struggle? No, I see there's that kind of...
There's always...
It's because we're given the give-outs that they're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing it, then you would make a educated decision based on, can I afford 4 kids? Nah, I can't, let's have 3.
I think probably public opinion would say that the 2-child cap was actually quite popular. So them going or removing it is them making an unpopular decision, which you could argue is, what are the stats that say of families with big kids where the kids end up in trouble, the kids end up malnourished or with problems that we then need to pay for. I don't know.
I think for certain situations, again, every situation is different, and I would never want to see people genuinely struggle. But they're talking like a family that has 6 kids. I think the stat was that they would be £15,000 better off, annually. I'm not going to start arguing that we shouldn't be bringing kids out of child poverty.
But go straight. We've had this discussion many times before. Where did the Daily Mail headlines go about the corporations not paying their tax? They're not. It's about the benefit scroungers. Constantly about the benefit scroungers. Now, the benefits cost the country precisely nothing. The money goes out to the benefit scroungers. Nobody's sticking it in the Cayman Islands. It's coming back into the economy.
Yeah.
So it's like the argument of you do a cash job and you're defrauding the tax man. You're only defrauding the tax man if the money's going somewhere where it's not coming back into the economy, because it will get you somewhere down the line.
What about this stat about trying to inspire but
wait
sorry.
a second, because you gloss over that. So where do you stand on that, the benefits money? Because I tell you, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we're all going to be on benefit money. Universal basic income will be benefit money. And the principle of it is, if you give everybody 30 grand a year, 30 grand a year is not enough to save money on. 30 grand goes out, 30 grand comes back in.
I'll be definitely moving to Dubai then.
Well, but the same problem's going to exist there, because AI is going to replace everything. And it used to be that, I was talking to a guy from Savills the other day, and he said, AI, I don't think will replace you or I, Davy, the jobs that we do. And I'm like, are you daft?
Aye.
Because I tell you what's going to happen. Rightmove will start taking listings direct from the public. And Bango's estate agency, Bango's the whole estate agency market. Because AI will write your description for your property.
That already happens. Your photos. I was out.
Rightmove will start this.
You were asking before about as a small business, how's it affecting me as well? I'm looking to hire 3 members of staff, and I'm looking abroad for every single one.
Yeah, and they're not paying tax.
They're not paying tax to the Philippines or to South Africa. And you look at national insurance contributions that you're going to be paying for a member of staff. The minimum wages went up, and are you getting that value? No, you're not. You're getting somebody that's lazy.
So that's somebody that could be full time in your business in the UK.
They're not here. I'm not going. I wouldn't employ them.
Take your job on the training front. People can now go to. I think I saw. It was a podcast, a property guy talking about how he's now using ChatGPT for everything. Instead of the training course, ChatGPT can tell you how to do it. How do I fund this? How do I finance this? Here's my circumstances.
But ChatGPT is not right.
No, but it's evolving.
It's evolving
so quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be right very soon.
I was hearing about a solicitor saying to me last week that the people are getting their commercial lease contracts drawn up by ChatGPT, and then they're wondering why they can't enforce it and get their money back. Because
that's that's like you say, that's gonna happen so quick that there's not going to be any.
It was only about 7 months ago I put in to try and find Scottish property entrepreneurs on ChatGPT for suggestions for the podcast, and Nick Ponty came up as a property educator.
So it's very wrong.
So it's very fucking wrong.
It's very wrong.
But the thing is,
I did teach him. I did educate it just to make sure.
There's something that I ripped out of you once upon a time for the pivot thing.
Yeah.
But the pivot thing's exactly the way I'm thinking just now. This is happening at frightening speed. And if you think about how we evolve, we're in the process of learning something, then there's a shiny thing over there and we get diverted and we think about something else. Well, artificial intelligence doesn't work like that. It improves and it improves it improves it improves. And the pace of it is massive. And unless we're looking at the pivot points as entrepreneurs, you're
going to get left behind.
You are going to get left behind.
I'm looking at it and I'm going, yes, absolutely, I agree with you. Like, you know, us as agents, estate agents, letting agents, people who are providing training, information, these are jobs that are at high risk. Then you think to yourself, what jobs? I mean, I'm thinking now, does it go the other way? You know, do people start going back into trades now? You know, joiners, plumbers, you know.
Yeah, but it needs to happen in this country to get us out. But
and, you know, the kind of way I'm looking at it is pivot into the more niche.
What do you tell your kids now? What to get into?
I don't tell my son what to get into. I'm kind of, he's studying environmental science at Stirling Uni with absolutely no idea what he wants to do. And I don't know where the world's going to.
It's really, it's a really mad.
We were chatting about the trades there and the property businesses off air, and I said the thing that's bothering me is trades. You know, I get that prices are going up, materials are going up, cost of labour, everything's going up. So you're feeling that pinch. But what I'm struggling with now is you're not getting what you used to get. I used to go to your guy in their 50s, 60s that good work ethic, that fucking, you know, that knew their job. And I felt that you couldn't get it from the younger generation because it would just be sitting on TikTok. Now, you look at you drive past any fucking building site in van and you'll see your 50-year-old hairy fucking arse builder sitting on his phone just scrolling TikTok for 4 hours a day, not being productive.
You were asking me earlier on about the social media stuff. I resisted. When we started off doing it, we advertised on Smooth Radio because Smooth Radio was an older listenership. They tended to have paid off some of their mortgage. Therefore, times were hard, 2008, 9, 10.
They could take that.
They could take a little bit of hit on their property and they could be aggressive in terms of moving it. Then we went on Clyde, and Clyde did double what Smooth did, which was a surprise to me because it's a younger listener group. We've always done Facebook. We've stayed off of TikTok because TikTok was a young audience, but TikTok's not a young audience anymore. It's mainstream, as you say. Every truck driver's on. It's an entertainment source now, and as people opt out of the news and understanding things totally, the attention span comes down into 10-second, 20-second, 30-second clips. And the one that got me, the one that really changed my opinion on things was did you see the story about the Kira Cousins girl with the girl for Airdrie, the fake pregnancy thing?
Yes, that is frightening.
So she gets pregnant to the boyfriend of 30 minutes, all over TikTok about her pregnancy and everything. But she's told him she's got cancer, and he's trying to get her to have an abortion, but she won't have the abortion. The thing's playing out over TikTok like a soap opera. She gets the fake baby bump, the gender reveals on TikTok.
But then the pictures was no, she got caught out with the picture with it, and it was a toy baby.
It took ages.
A
she
doll.
came out of hospital with the doll.
Fucking hell.
The boyfriend's pictured feeding the baby. The mum doesn't know. Nobody's allowed to touch the baby because the baby's got colic.
The baby's plastic.
But this ends up with 100,000 people sitting on a live feed because somebody's posted that Kira Cousins is coming on their live feed at 9 o'clock. Now, Kira Cousins was never going on that live feed at 9 o'clock. That's somebody telling a lie to boost their people. But there's 100,000 people. Kira Cousins is sitting in her house talking to Netflix about the documentary. And it just struck me that...
Did we ever get why? Why? Was it a financial thing?
Apparently she'd done it before. It's obviously...
Mental health issues.
There's something not right there, but it'll work out in her favour because she'll get a big payoff from
Where do you
Netflix.
think social media is going with AI then? Because a lot of what you see on... I think I read a stat the other day saying that something like 54% everything you see on social media is AI already.
Yeah, and do you know, that's something that interests me as well, because it used to be you saw the story of the dancing parrot and that was funny. Now you can't differentiate between the real dancing parrot and...
Now you can get a dancing pirate.
Yeah, I can dance for you right now if you want. And then, you know, there was a thing, I was listening recently to a guy in the States that's invented this app where if you've got a recording of a relative that's died, the app will become the person. So they're having the debate that he talks to his mum, his dead mum, every day. Comes in from his work and tells his mum about his day, and mum answers him and everything. So the interviewer's saying, but that's, really weird. And that was my initial thing. That is weird. But
Quite a nice comfort and in grief, though.
Well, that's what the guy was saying. He said, I don't talk to my mum about big things. He said, I know it's not my mum. But the thing is, as time goes on with AI, it's learning to be his mum constantly. Because if she says, I really miss a cup of coffee, and he says, you hate coffee, it's now learned that I don't like coffee. So over a period of time, it's becoming essentially that person. And the way the guy explained it, he said, I'm sitting in California and you're sitting in London and we've got 1 million people listening to this discussion. What if I'm not real? What if I'm AI generated in California here? What does it matter? The conversation is either interesting or it's not interesting. And that's when you start to understand that it's getting to the stage where people don't matter. So the niche is, where do people matter?
Can I butt in there a wee second? So this is interesting, right? Because I'm now,
first thing you've ever said that.
I'm now having conversations. I know usually I'm just interrupting you full flow, but I'm now having conversations in my car with my AI. So my Chat GPT app speaks to me now.
How does your imaginary friend feel about this?
I know, it's quite sad, isn't it? I'm going to need to break the news. I'm going to be like that girl down in Ayrshire. Kidding on, I've got a friend. Airdrie. It's not far from here.
Careful what you
Just
say.
try and get on the podcast.
You should. There's your blockbuster.
Bring in your doll.
But it's, if you remember the 7 stages of man graph from the ape,
Evolution.
the 8th stage is the augmented person. And to a degree, we're kind of, as we get older, we're all augmented. I've got a new shoulder, my sister's got new hands, and everybody's got a new hip or something like that. But the augmented stage will be a very short period, because if we can download your brain into a computer and therefore
It's not going to take very fucking long.
if we can download it into a computer, you can upload it into a robot. And that robot, that artificial person, will never be sick, will never be late for their work.
Go on, Stephen.
But this, like, if you look on social media and all you see is AI, you're almost a bit cheated that it's not real that you're watching. Just so you're entertained by it.
How do you know?
But you can start to tell now.
So I see an opportunity here for entrepreneurs, business owners, all the rest of it. I see a big opportunity because people are just spurting out shit AI. You can tell an AI post now, right? You got the fucking emojis, the dashes and all. I put them out as well. My wife says to me 2 days ago, why are you putting out that AI shite? People can see through that. And that's not doing you any good at all. It looks lazy. You need to stop doing that. And this is where you especially have a massive opportunity.
I've never done an AI post.
No. But with your personal brand,
Well, I was away to
personal brand will win the day over the next couple of years.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So what does the personality do that the AI can't do? And that's the pivot. But to me, that's the pivot. What can I do that AI can't do? Because it can
be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Authentically you. And I was thinking about this as well, because I was almost thinking, well, if social media is going that fucking complete AI way, well, what's the point in even being there and being present in it? And then I thought the same as you, Nick, thinking, no, there's an opportunity here, because I bet you in the next year or so to try and create a personal brand is going to be near impossible, because people are going to be fed shit, entertained constantly, and they won't know what to know or trust. Whereas if you've already got a personal brand and somebody sees you and goes, oh no, Stevie, I know Davey, I know Nick, I've seen them, and they already trust you from 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago.
But see, to go back to the algorithms in the corporations story, what they tell you is ultimately, it's a brainwashing thing. It's what you believe. So Simon Cowell goes to ChatGPT and says, give me a song that's exactly like Beyonce's Texas, whatever it's called, and doesn't infringe any copyright. ChatGPT will give him that instantly. Then he puts the money behind it. Then he tells you that's what you want to listen to. Now, you could argue that's what Stock Aitken and Waterman was back all these years ago. But I spent 5 years making an album
that you could do in
I could
5
do
minutes.
in 5 days, yeah. Now, but the difference is the album that I made has absolutely no AI in it, and I'm just about to make another one, which will be the the same concept, because it's about mental health. It's about how I feel. I go to see somebody about their house. What ChatGPT and an artificial person can't do is pick up on how you feel about selling your property.
Emotions, yeah.
What are your reasons for selling it? What do you actually want to get out of this? And I, as a person, can get out of that person that they're quite happy to take a drop on the product because it's making them unhappy, for instance. I can be honest about how much money I'm going to make out of that property, but it's about sussing out the individual. I had a lady recently who was getting repossessed the following day, and I knew, speaking to her, I could trust her. I knew she was the right type. She'd been paying her council tax. She'd been paying everything. She'd just done the classic head in the sand thing. So I gave her the money to stave off the eviction, which allowed me to then be able to sell her property on the open market rather than buying her property, because that was the right thing to do. I still make money out of it. And that's the thing, whichever route you go, I will make money out of you. I can say that to people because it's honest. But here's your options.
My wife's studying to be a therapist, and I just think
the point of that, and it ties in with your therapist stuff. I knew, speaking to that lady, there was no stuff in the background that she wasn't telling me.
Yeah.
Now, 9 people out of 10, there would be stuff in the background that they're not telling. They'd run amok on credit cards, this, that, and the next thing. I knew she was honest. I knew she was straight, and I knew she was telling me the truth. And I don't think AI can do that. I don't think AI could make that judgment.
I know. I was just plugging my wife's therapy, so she's gonna be a therapist. So, and I think there's good value in that. I think that I'll be out of a job before she will be, because as that kind of there's like you just described there, sitting face to face with somebody, taking the time to understand their problems, and really getting into it.
I just never thought I would do a property podcast where the host would tell me about plugging his wife.
So, my kids will be listening.
I'm going to apologise to Mrs. Point. I don't know why, because there's no way she watches this.
And I'm going to revert back to AI again here right now. And this is an argument Nick and I've had before about the editing of the podcast.
What are you trying to say? Mrs. Point is not real.
Chucking it in Opus clips is not giving you that content. AI won't pick up on that funny fucking moment.
That's not AI. That's us talking. What are you talking about?
I know, but the AI is creating the content.
So it's still us talking.
Passion. I've never seen this before.
I won't know the clips to go and say David just made a fucking funny clickbait crack about the Scottish property podcast host talking about plugging his wife. That's going to go. AI's not going to pick up on that.
Right.
But Scottish humour is going to go.
I tell you what, right? You spend the hour then listening back to the podcast. Right? You take the hour out of your time to listen back to the podcast and pull out those moments. To do it.
My time's valuable, but the time in the Filipinos or the South African editors that will do it for £5 an hour can do that and get good quality clips out of it. AI is not going to be able to fucking replace that.
Okay, we need another sponsor in to sponsor the podcast for more money so we can get that.
afford better editors rather than AI.
Well, look what you started here. This is into a full-blown argument now. Right, back to the budget.
If anybody's got to reach out to our sponsors.
We've not talked about actually what happened in the budget, right? So there was all these rumours, right? Landlords were going to get hammered with an 8% increase to, well, it's going to be a national insurance tax on rental income at 8%. That was a rumour. There was also talk about, what was the other one we talked about? The VAT thresholds. That never happened. What did happen was there's now going to be a 2%.
We were chatting about that just before we started as well. Do you think that was part of the ploy off the budget? Because there was a lot of rumours that everyone was sitting there really panicking in anticipation, thinking this is going to be a big one, this is going to be a sore one. And when you look at what they did, okay, some of it was bad, but we're not, because of how bad we thought it was going to be, it's almost like, it's okay.
I think it's actually quite clever what they've done. I think what's not clever was the leaks and the speculation in the weeks coming up. I mean, people have been describing this for weeks as the most eagerly anticipated budget ever.
Make or break.
Well, effectively, fuck all happened in the...
Like you say, putting people under a depression and an anxiety into
Yeah, and also it gave the impression of they don't know what they're doing. Now, I would say the results of the budget say to me they knew exactly what they were doing, but the impression that they gave with this build-up and leak stuff was that they don't know what they're doing, and that's what the public will come away with. And the public are gut feel. It's back to that Trump speech I'm talking about. They're picking up the wee bits that they get. And I was listening to some of the reactions on the street yesterday that they do, going to Sunderland and speaking to the person in the street about what they thought about the budget. Well, the person in Sunderland is speaking to knew fuck all about the budget. They hadn't heard anything about it.
Because the price of pint hadn't gone up or down.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I think so. When I looked at how it would affect, like I always look at the bottom line. I look at what does it actually mean in monetary terms, and if I suppose a lot of listeners might be like us taking tax efficient money out of their limited company, their property investment company. If you're pulling down your 12 grand tax free, and then you're taking your dividends allowance up to another 38,000, that extra 2% increase probably works out around about £700 a month. It's £700 for the year.
So this is the 2% rise on dividend tax. And if people are investing in a limited company now and you want to extract money out, well, first of all, you're paying your corporation tax, 25%. Then you have to pay your dividend tax. That was 8.75%. It's now gone up to 10.75% on basic rate. If your higher rate, it's 35 or something like that now, I think.
So if you stay to the basic rate up to your 43 or 50 grand, whatever it is.
50 grand, I think, or something like that.
That's working at about £700 over the year extra.
Well, I guess this comes back to what we were talking about earlier, where I was talking to you about your net worth. So we can all get raged up about it. But if, let's project forward 12 months, and let's say house prices remain static, do you think your net worth will be less next year than it is this year? Because I don't think you'll have experienced a year where that's happened in the last 20 years.
My business is growing.
Well, exactly.
So I'm not freaking out. And do you know what? Like, see the end of the 2-child benefit cap and all the rest of it. I'm fine with that because I'm doing all right.
I listened to Kirsty Allsop on the radio the other day, yittering on about the mansion tax thing and how this is going to destroy the economy. Now, give me a break.
Destroys folk with
£2 million. If you've got a property that's worth £2.5 million,
£2 million,
you can
an extra £2.5 grand.
Well, they were talking. This was the day before the budget. They were talking about it being £4.5 grand.
Was it 2.5 at the 2 million up to 5 million was about £7.5 grand.
Her argument was that people have got less money to go and then spend on the economy, having their latte, and you're like.
Crap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are people that have inherited these houses and have always been in that neighbourhood. Give me a break.
I am disappointed that they've not actually gone for that group a wee bit harder. The super wealthy.
Why have they not?
Because like you say, they're all around the country.
But there's the crux of the matter. You know why they've not done it. Everybody knows why they've not done it. Because they can't do it.
But you think if Labour are not going to do it, who are?
Well, if Labour did it, the whole press juggernaut that I'm just talking about with the 5 individuals, that whole thing comes down on them. And then it comes down to eat a bacon sandwich the wrong way and your whole life is finished. And you look at the people that, and I'm not going down the conspiracy story route here, but look at the people who've stood up. What happened to them? Alex Salmond, Nicola Sturgeon on the Scottish side, Jeremy Corbyn, Ed Miliband. These are all people that stood up and gave a different view of how things should, whether he supported how, what their beliefs were or not. These were things that went against the status quo.
Corbyn didn't last long, did he?
No, but then his party coming back in now will splinter the Reform vote. The Green Party coming up will splinter the Reform vote. So probably what you're going to have is politics of much smaller parties, which maybe means coalition down the line. I don't know, but it's a strange setup that you've got, that the person that can vote for Nigel Farage can also vote for Jeremy Corbyn because they're poles apart. And you first saw that in the States, the guy that could vote for Bernie Sanders, when Bernie Sanders didn't get the nomination for the Democrat Party, voted Trump. So there was the far left and the far right being the same person. So left and right doesn't exist anymore.
Who are you voting for next?
Do you know, I have absolutely no idea. I've never had any idea. I think
they always just go at the last minute. Just
I see massive opportunities for people to do something just by being that straight and honest way that I spoke about.
You're not getting into politics again? I know you got offered before, or you were something.
Right. Let's go back to the algorithms in the press. What do you think they're going to make of me if I stand up? Unless I go to the Conservative Party or Reform just now, what are they going to do to me?
Do you know what?
Do
I'm getting visions here. Remember that film for fucking about 15, 20 years ago, that Ali G in the Hood?
Yeah.
I'm getting visions of that. Davy standing up and running for politics.
To say, do you know what? Bring it on. But I can't be bothered. I'm 58 years old. I'm out of piss and vinegar.
Stick to writing songs and play music.
Is that not the right time for you to do it? You're not going to be the puppet or the puppet on somebody else's strings. You've got your own kind of personal economy. You don't need to listen to
anybody else. You're not being independent. That's how Nigel Farage started, was it not?
Well, Nigel Farage had a long time of being elected by nobody.
Aye.
I don't have a long time to do anything.
Just enjoy your life, don't get involved.
I mean, if they wanted to say to me, Dave, you're going to come in and run the country, yeah, I'm going to have a pop at that.
Aye.
But
what would be the first thing you would do if somebody came to you and said, go and run the country?
I'd be straight with people. I'd tell them exactly what the problem is. And that it's unsolvable.
It's unsolved. So basically, the question is, what change would you make? You say, well, I can't do it. There's nothing you can do.
Well, right now, you've got stealth tax everywhere. And that's the secret of what they're doing. People don't really notice it, but their taxes are going up. That's why they didn't do the income tax thing, which should have been the easiest and fairest way to do it. I would have come out and said, this is why your income tax is going up. I know we said this, but the world's changing so quickly, and you all know the world's changing so quickly. I would tell them what's happening with AI. I would tell them what the predictions say down the line. And I would try and take a lot of the grey fudge. I don't know if anybody's ever used the word grey fudge before. I would take that out completely and just say, it's back to American, I am of the people for the people.
I would cut corporation tax to 15%.
Do you know something? I'm not against that at all.
Yep.
Trickle-down economics does work. The way we've done trickle-down economics by giving the billionaires more doesn't work. And I wonder what drives these people. I mean, if you look at like Elon Musk and compare him to the richest guy in the world years ago, it's infinitely different. You know, Carnegie was the richest guy in the world, but if you take Carnegie's wealth then, and what's that worth in today's terms, it's nowhere near.
Well, that's only just changed in recent years.
Yeah,
like very
because it's driven by AI.
Who's
going to benefit out of AI? Who are the people that are going to benefit financially out of AI? The same people, the tech bros that sat behind Trump at his inauguration. That's who's going to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. And at the same time, these people are all buying homes in New Zealand and, making kind of nuclear bunkers and things like that. Have you read that stuff about them? They've all bought homes in New Zealand.
Aye.
These are the guys that understand AI. Why are they doing that?
Why?
Because they know where it goes, potentially. The AI thing. The AI explodes and leaves people behind.
Have you downloaded the Chinese AI app?
Funny enough, no.
I took a big gamble and downloaded it. So I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It's basically a Chinese version of ChatGPT, right? And so they were doing a review of it in Sky News, and they says, right, well, what we asked it about what happened in Tiananmen Square, and it basically just came out blank. No, that never happened.
Elon Musk has done his own one as well. His own.
Aye, that's right. Aye,
but because you've got control.
There's so much control
over it.
That's the scary thing, isn't it?
And that comes back to your satellites and things like that, and the control of the algorithms and the distribution.
And we'll just feed into it. We will just believe what we see.
But I tell you something on a positive spin. It is by far the most exciting time in history. The world is changing right in front of us at lightning speed.
Because I can write an email now without any spell mistakes.
Well done.
And I'm pretty sure I was undiagnosed dyslexic.
Seriously?
Yeah, I really struggled. Like I did, like higher English, I failed. Like all through school, I struggled. See any of that writing, reading, any English activities at all, I really struggled with.
Yeah, I was very much
and then
same.
when I came to set up the business, and I'm like a letting agent, everyone's got to be logged, recorded, emails. I had serious anxiety every time I had to go to write an email because I was like, this is going to take me fucking hours, paragraph and paragraph. Then I had to get my wife to look over it and say, is this all right to send to landlord?
That's actually stuff that fascinates me. So the core problem is being dyslexic. Dyslexic causes the panic and the anxiety and ultimately the depression, because all of these things all go together.
Or the procrastination that you don't do the job.
Yeah. This journey that I did with myself inside my head, and the important thing is to be honest, as you've just been there, because it's the only way you can understand things. And I discovered that I had OCD. I didn't know I had OCD. But you start to notice things.
How did that present itself? Sorry, this is quite personal now. This is way off the budget now.
It's also a bit embarrassing. I recognised, because I was looking for quirks in myself, that
I don't think I need to look very far, David, to find quirks in you.
I blink when a car comes towards me, and I blink when it passes me. And if I'm in a line of traffic, I'm like, blink, 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 blink. And I noticed that I did. It was like a wee game that I played with myself. But having recognised the game that I play with myself, trying to stop myself doing it became an issue.
Right.
Now, it's such a stupid little thing. But I started doing the 10,000 steps at the start of lockdown. So what's that, 5 years into it, I've never missed a day with my 10,000 steps.
Nice one.
But it's an OCD thing.
But is that OCD or is that just discipline? A disciplined man that knows how to go to the gym, that knows how to eat the right thing, knows how to...
That's what I mean. It's not a disability. It's where does one thing stop and another thing start? It's when it goes too far and it starts to kind of control other things. But I've been fascinated by my own battle with anxiety, which is lifelong and probably worse when I was a kid. But how I dealt with that was by developing this
personality,
this caricature, and then became that person. It's a fake it to make it thing. So you're creating alternate personalities all the time, and that's what we do through life. You start a business, you become a different personality to the one who didn't start a business, because all of a sudden you've got to be the accountant, the manager. When you're working for somebody else, you don't. Your interests are different. Kira Cousins and TikTok is what you're interested in, and I got so much out of that journey of understanding myself that it really helps me understand the person that I'm speaking to, which helps the job that I do, which is not something AI can do.
Did you ever try and fake something, like in terms of, like, I'm thinking back to see when I started out my business, right? I thought like an estate agent or a letting agent had to be this person, you know, where they were smart and they turned up and like everything online was like squeaky clean and all the rest of it. And see, when I realised that I didn't actually need to be that person, I can just be myself, it was so liberating. And now I just go on spout any old shite, but it's me. Do you know what I mean? For me, that was like liberating.
It's authentic. And I've always believed that for me, if I talk credibly, that credibility is magnified. I've been helping a lad just now that I've known for 10 years. He lost a leg at the thigh when he was a baby. His mum was a drug addict. It was neglect. He's gone through the whole care system. And I've been trying to help him since he was 16. We did a photo shoot with him where we get Slaters to make a suit for him that wasn't the leg rolled up. It was a suit for a one-legged man, because he's actually grown up as a one-legged man. His legs actually moved slightly towards the centre, so as it pivots with his crutches. And this boy getting about is...
He uses prosthetics? What they call
prosthetics?
Prosthetics?
No, he doesn't.
No.
Because he's amputated so high.
All right.
But I tried to help him when he was 16. He wasn't interested, because he was interested in being a BAM. Went to jail. Didn't have any kind of family to speak of. He'd been in and out the care system, didn't have any male influence. So he came back to me a couple of months ago, aged 24, now in a relationship of 3 years with a girl, got himself out of Maryhill, now lives over on the south side, and rented accommodation, understands now what I was talking about credit rating and everything. He screwed his up because it's free money. Well, it's free money, that means you can't buy a house, but there was no adult to tell him that. And he now wants to start his own business in detailing and valeting, which he's served his time at.
Aye.
Now, you would look at him and say, how can that boy possibly do valeting? But when I was talking to him, I said, you need to major on the one leg, because if you go and valet somebody's car and you do it to the same standard as the other valeter, your valeting will be better, because People will say to their friends, "Now you ought to see this one-legged boy."
He's had to work harder to do it.
Well, just because you look odd, and it magnifies your credibility.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is use it to your advantage.
Exactly. Turn it round. I mean, the way I look magnifies my credibility, but you have to be credible to start with.
Yeah.
Because if you're not credible, it magnifies it the other way.
You can't just go and...
Why do you think we get pigeonholed into doing that? Like what you touched on as well about you're in this business, you must be squeaky clean dressed, fucking blazer, shirt, all this kind of
It's
stuff.
just first impressions, isn't it?
Everybody's born an individual. Everybody's got their individuality, which over the course of their life, society smooths off all these edges that make you individual to make you the same as everybody else. Every miner going down the mine is the same as every other miner. And they're not, because one was born a gay poet. More than one was born a gay poet, but they were going down the mine the same as everybody else. The Sunday school, the school,
They would just never admit to that going down the mine, though.
I mean, just where the world's going, though, do you think everyone can be more individual and be themselves because you've not got the massive corporations that are employing thousands of people doing jobs like that. You've not got this big industrial industry anymore in the UK. It's more small businesses.
You must find yourself as small business owners looking at big corporations and think there's so many better ways to do this. My gym, for instance, is a great gym, but the mix of people that are in it could very easily be a club and not a gym. But what you need to turn that corner from a gym into a club is the personalities running the gym, the personalities on the floor, the general manager. But the general manager of these big gyms is now like middle management of big corporations, where here are the rules of how you do things. So in other words, take away all of your personality and we're going to run this gym the same way as we run that gym.
Why did you leave the Davy Lloyds?
I'll tell you a story about that. about my anxiety. JD, it was Exercise for Less, had opened a place in Renfrew, and a load of folk from David Lloyd had gone there. And I thought, do you know, I'm going to go down and see what this is like. I was just needing a change. And I'm anxious because I'm going down myself to a new gym. Just walk in there, put the door open, tell them there's a new bull in town. That's the way we're going to deal with this. New bull in town. I walked through the door, get changed, came out the changing room, and I walked into the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. Paddy, his name was, a friend of mine now. But Paddy would be 6'8", 6'9", and built like the proverbial brick shithouse, and all in proportion. And I actually kind of walked into like his belly button and kind of looked up at him, and he took my breath away and took my confidence away. And I left the gym.
Fuck's sake, Paddy.
I left the gym. I went and get changed, went way back out, and I had 24 hours to think about it. And I'm like, you need to go and sort this out.
Well, you were wanting to be the biggest guy in the gym?
No, I knew I wasn't the biggest guy in the gym. It's just all bullshit bravado. Yeah. So I walk back in, get changed next day, and I go out and I go, hold this guy, Paddy. I'm like, listen, big man. Everybody's looking at us like the Klitschko brothers, right? Because they know we're the two biggest guys in the gym, right? And nobody knows that if the Klitschko brothers fought each other, who would win, because they made a pact that they would never fight each other. And that's me and you, big man. We're never going to fight each other, and they'll never know. And I walked away doing the eye. And Big Paddy looked at me like the way a Labrador looks at you when it doesn't understand. It just went...
And now you're good pals.
And that was a perfect example of my personality. The anxiety stopped me doing something. The alter ego kicks in and turns it to your advantage.
What things annoy you at the gym? That's a good one.
There's no Paddy, I'll tell you that. What things annoy me at the gym? Tripods.
Oh, people filming themselves?
Tripods, people filming. I don't get it at all.
I get if they're PTs and they're promoting their personal brand or their business, okay. But somebody just posting their fucking workout on...
You kind of know the difference.
Aye.
You know, and even like promoting their personal business. The personal business a lot of them are promoting is the influencer.
Aye, look at
me.
me.
Here's me at the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and you see them walk in, they do fuck all and leave.
Aye.
But they've got a picture taken outside the gym kind of thing. There's that content box ticked.
Guys that take too long on the machines. Like I was in the other day, right, and I was doing legs, and there was this guy on the leg press machine, and I was usually it's what three sets, right? That's kind of normal, right? this guy was just going and going and going, and I don't want to be the guy that just kind of stands there just hanging over him. So what's the etiquette then? I don't go to the gym that much. What do you do when you're waiting on that last exercise? You just one more thing to finish
How
off.
many sets you got, mate?
Aye.
Just go up and just say, I was too scared.
I'm not bothered when they're taking long. It's when they're sitting on their fucking phone for ages while they're between sets.
Oh, aye, or doing voice notes or text.
Mate, you fucking working out or you working? Get the fuck off the machine.
I mean, there's lots of things that annoy me, but also I recognise that the young team that are in their training are all doing it right in a way that I wasn't doing it right. That's why I had to get a new shoulder, because I didn't have a clue what we were doing. It was just all about me lifting more than you. Didn't matter how I lifted it. But now they've got YouTube tutorials and everything. The training is all there and everything.
Well, I use ChatGPT as my personal trainer, so you'll see me going around going, what do I do next? I've just done 36 kgs, 3 sets. Tell me what exercise next. I'm talking to this people.
Jesus.
No, it's amazing.
Seriously?
Right out the whole.
Seriously?
Yes, it writes out the whole workout plan for me.
But with that, you recognise what that's doing. It's stopping you thinking.
Aye,
It's stopping
I don't
you saying,
think
right, I've
much
just
these
worked my
days. But
chest. I want to work another bit of my chest. I want to work this bit of my chest or this bit of my chest. How do I do that?
But this is coming back to the whole AI thing versus this giving you the wrong information. If you go and Nick's going to just go and look at a chat GPT, go and bench press 36 kilos, but it doesn't do it wrong. If you look at the YouTube video, the personal trainer that's took the time to learn the technique, understand and go, please lock your shoulders back in before you lift and take the weight like this, you're going to prevent injuries.
But the AI is taking it from the YouTube video, the personal trainer who spent years and years. It's taking it from there.
It's telling you exactly how to do your technique.
But you don't need to think. And that's what we're doing, is dumbing ourselves down. It started with sat-navs. I mean, I'm old enough to remember.
The A to Z.
Exactly.
Remember a road trip when you're younger with maps?
Stop asking people directions.
Aye, wind the window down.
And I remember stopping a boy Posso and saying, how do I get to such and such? And he says, you just go down there and you turn right at the R10 and it's up that road on the left. And I'm like, it's the R10?
Have you ever seen that programme on the telly?
The big picture house. I'm like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, the Rio. But you don't get that interaction.
And he was local.
Yeah, and now you get to the place that you're driving to. You've got no idea how you got there. Play a game with yourself.
We've been coming here for fucking 3 years.
And you keep asking me where I need to go.
Play a game with yourself. Get there on your sat nav, and then on the way back, switch your sat nav off.
Well, that's all I get.
How much you remember.
That's all I get. A homing pigeon going back is getting somewhere that's the same. I went in the other night, and Mrs. was watching some program. I think it was something about folk traveling around the world. But they think they're no phone. They've got there's a grand.
Oh yeah,
you get it, and
race around the world.
She said to me, she goes, "How do you think we would be doing that?" And I goes, "Well, to be honest with you, I would love the adventure, but I think I would be fucked. We all rely on our phones for everything, translation, directions, where we're going to, and they've got on maps. And I was like, that would be good, but we're so far gone from that.
I don't rely on mine an awful lot in terms of like you're talking about Ask ChatGPT. I don't really do that. I do it every so often. I did it medically. I had an issue going on that I couldn't get doctor's appointments and everything, and I thought it was really useful because you could have the discussion as opposed to Google saying you've got toe cancer. You know, the ChatGPT does give you like an old-fashioned doctor's appointment, so that I can see all the benefits of it. But I want to try and keep myself mentally active. I've got a strange brain that I got asked last week doing a podcast how my brain works, and because I'd said something in the middle of the night, you know, the dog needs out and then I can't get back to sleep because my brain's just going nuts and it's thinking about hundreds of different things. And he says, well, like what? I said, well, this morning it was about artificial intelligence and where that's going. Do fish know they're wet? And where did the word wardrobe come from? That's the way my brain fires.
And that is why we loved doing podcasts with Davy Hutton.
Because we've not even spoken about the budget.
I know, we've done an hour and we've not even...
Listen, I've filled an hour about the budget. There wasn't 5 minute of content.
Well,
there was nothing in it.
See, for the last 2 minutes, I'm just going to quickly summarise, right? So for landlords and property investors, so if you're still buying in your personal name, which you probably shouldn't, but I think you've got properties in your personal name. Yeah, I've got properties still in my personal name. So you're going to be 2% worse off. So they're going to put a tax on your rental income of an extra 2%. It's not the end of the world. If you take an average, say you're cash flowing £300 a month, I think it only works out over the year about £75 to £100 over the year. So it's not the end of the world.
It's like Davey was saying earlier on, it's all these wee things.
All these wee things,
keep you
Mansion tax, I don't think that even applies in Scotland, by the way, because I think it's going to be a council tax, and to be honest with you, you'll be struggling to find a home worth over £2 million round Glasgow anyway. Maybe out where you live, out in the posh part, Davy. But
it was the owners that paid it, not that if you rented that property, it wasn't the tenants that paid it, was it? It was kept with the owner, I heard.
Based on the value of the property. Yeah. So electric vehicle mileage tax, you're going to be charged 3p for every mile that you do in your electric car now. You get rid of yours.
From 2020.
There was one. But there was one that came in.
That's exactly the point. You're the stat man, right? You're just telling me blindly that headline, it doesn't come until 2028. It's a non-headline.
Right.
There was one in electric cars.
That's your TikTok news. You've just gone with a headline.
There was one that people should be aware of, though.
I've
offset the cost of electric vehicle 100% on your corporation tax, and from April they're doing away with that. So if you want an electric car through the company, you better get it before April.
And they've already done away with the pickups. And
done away with pickups.
And do you know, is it wrong? I don't mean on the electric side. How many of the big pickups carry anything? Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
So
they're losing. So the argument is they're losing so much in the fuel duty, so they've got to pick up somewhere else.
Yeah. Again, be honest about it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that brings us to a close, guys.
You don't want to talk about the property market or anything?
Property market, last 12
flat.
months, prices have been going up 5%. Rents have pretty much flatlined in Glasgow. Rents in some areas are actually coming down. Davy, how are you feeling when you're out in the field, talking to people?
I always find your
houses
view,
on the market?
I always find your view interesting because it's stats driven and mine is gut feel driven. My gut feel is it's changed. The market a year ago was 10% above Home Report. It's now Home Report, and Home Report's a decent result. And in Joe Public's mind, that's a declining market. Mm-hmm. And once you've adjusted Joe Public's mindset, that's a continuing declining market. I don't think it's a crash, but I spoke to somebody the other day that paid 1.2 million for a property a year and a half ago, trying to sell it just now, and they're going to drop. Their Home Report of £1 million, they paid 1.2 million for it. I said, what do you expect to get for it? He said, 1.2. I said, you're not going to get it.
9.
You've been on the market for 6 months. You're not going to get it. You're going to get Home Report value. So they've dropped 200 grand on the value of the property. They've dropped 200 grand on the second property tax and the stamp duty. To make matters worse, they've already out the property and they've bought their new property, which they thought they'd pay more than Home Report value for. So they've done it effectively again.
And paid 8% on top of it as well.
There's
I think that higher end definitely.
There's a quick way to spunk £500,000 up against the wall.
That's definitely a hard part of the market. I think speaking to other estate agents,
top end of the market is really, really difficult.
Yeah,
and dropping pretty fast.
But on the plus, interest rates they think are still going to keep coming down. So at least interest rates are still in the downwards. It could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. As I say, I don't see it as a crash. I just see it as a slow, like everything else, this slow descent, depression thing. You know, there's nothing to be up about.
But the good thing is you're still getting your 10,000 steps in every day. You're still writing your music. You've got, that's why it's so important. You've got
still blinking as you pass me in your car.
Talking about the blink, that was dead interesting because I watch my videos back sometimes, and when I've got to think when I speak.
Yes,
I am still thinking. I'm not just chat GPT, and I do blink when I'm trying to think what to say next. So we've got quite a bit in common there, Davy. But again, really appreciate you coming in. Love the chat.
There's somebody right now watching this thinking, do fish know they're wet?
And we'll leave you on that.
Thank you, and see you again soon.